Rom-coms often struggle to find uniqueness. The variance between one to another, in anime especially, is smaller than most other genres. There have been times where I've mixed up two anime not only because of similar plot, but character designs, setting, personality, and even art style. You can watch two different romantic comedy anime, and after only a few months your memories of each show will start to blend together. Despite this, once every blue moon, a diverse and truly entertaining rom-com finds its way through the slew of boring, cookie-cutter garbage released as a quick appeal to a dedicated fanbase of no-life basement dwellers. It just so happens that this season's spectacular new rom-com is Science Fell in Love, So I Tried to Prove It, a show about, for, and loved by nerds. Weebs included. I will also be referring to the show as Proving Love from now on, because I'd rather not have a good half of this video be me saying, or attempting to say, such a scientifically proven piece of garbage. I just wish light novel authors would be concise, even just once, for the degenerate community as a whole. Most of the time, when a romantic comedy stands out, it's because it delivers on narrative concepts that are unrelated to romance or comedy. Take Kaguya-sama for example. While the romance and comedy are both very endearing, there's nonetheless a very appealing psychological side as well. It's entertaining to see how Kaguya and Shirogane try to play mind tricks on each other from a psychological standpoint, by observing how their characters interact in an environment other than strictly romance or comedy. Scenarios like these are what give the show a greater sense of depth, that the world is not only limited to genres of romance and comedy. However, I find that Proving Love doesn't deliver on any other concepts past a run-of-the-mill rom-com. The general premise of it being science-related is merely a tool to enact certain romantic and or comedic elements, but it doesn't distinguish itself the way psychology does in Kaguya-sama. Surprisingly, I still can't seem to get enough of Himeno and Yukimura and their benign yet somehow understandably logical approach to love. Instead of trying to confirm their feelings alone or through other people's opinions, they just go right out and attempt to solve the ever-elusive emotions through considerably sociopathic methods. Well, not entirely, as many of the experiments Himuro and Yukimura run get fudged by one doki doki or another, and data leads to inconclusive results. This is basically the reset button that most every rom-com... This is basically the reset button that almost every rom-com has to increase tension and deepen relationships of the characters. I usually find this very irritating, but somehow the scientific twist makes it not only bearable, but enjoyable. Even more than just enjoyable, I also appreciate the amount of knowledge I gain. As a nerd, gathering more math principles is never an unwelcome surprise, and even though people explode my notebooks for no good reason, I still enjoy my scientific study. But seriously, I've learned some rational statistics from watching this bear give me sassy voiceovers while displaying poorly drawn diagrams, and I think that's where the fun comes from. The characters, while entertaining, are pretty two-dimensional. Their interest lies in nothing more than the standard romantic tension present in every functional rom-com. Even so, the scientific solutions to each anime-inspired problem manage to put a smile on my face because I can relate to the situations a lot. I'm logical, often to hide my illogical side, and Proving Love really gets that mentality and expands on it. Yukimura and Himuro both go over-logical with their explanations of love, but it's reasonable and funny every time. As someone who has a hard time expressing their emotions, seeing two socially awkward grad students fumble around a concept as intangible as love makes me honestly laugh. They try to explain an incalculable number like attraction through mathematical means, and it's refreshing. I love to see new concepts like this develop in dynamic genres like romantic comedy. If there's one thing truly different about Proving Love though, it's a confession. Himeno makes clear from the very beginning that she is in love with Yukimura. She just outright tells him she is attracted to him. This all happens in the first 5 minutes of the first episode, and because of this, the misunderstandings and awkward situations don't stem from the variability of each character thinking that their love interest may or may not love them or someone else. Instead, a cute little song and dance happens. Instead, a cute little song and dance happens where both Yukimura and Himeno, at the outset, are 50-50 on whether or not they like each other. But as the experiment progresses, they adamantly try to prove that they are not, in fact, in love despite all the evidence saying otherwise. It's unique in a way that still fits the stereotype of the genre, which is why while it's enjoyable, it doesn't break the mold and do something truly interesting. Overall, it's a good show with some mild fan service and great waifus to sloppily self-print onto some body pillows. While the hook of the show being a scientific experience isn't exactly delivered, the main couple is adorable in other ways and get progressively more in love with each other, which shares an inversely proportional relationship to how much they want to actually prove their love. Definitely not my first recommendation for romantic comedy, but in terms of those out this season, it's one of the better ones.